plans, it looks very much like the pillars will block the view down through the market, putting a barrier in front of our customers, and the extension will block the natural light. Now, Tenby Town Council have approved the plan without consulting us. We've been told it's because they had assurance from Croxford Bassett Holdings that the existing market traders will be not affected. We will not lose any trade. We've also been told this by Will Crockford, that this major, noisy project can be done at night and at weekends. How realistic is that, we ask you? We have not seen a method statement, but it would involve tradesmen willing to work at night, at weekends for a considerable amount of time. And it stands to reason that layers of dust and materials will still be there the next day. And then it won't be Mr. Crockford who tells us to leave. His deal will not be broken. It will be the council who will deem this unworkable. Perhaps alternative accommodation will be offered to us. But again, realistically, no suitable premises will be available to us. And then what for us all? The market can employ up to 30 people. All these local jobs bring revenue into the town. All the market starts live locally. We should have had assurance and regular feedback from our landlords about this and the developments, but we haven't been adequately informed. We've had hardly any communication, and we've learnt most of our news from the newspaper, and we're all worried sick. As the National Parks, we look to you to help look after the cultural heritage of our town and support our community, as stated in the Stanford Principle. You've been asked to consider the future of not just us, but of all our local suppliers as well. You're dealing here with a successful market. It doesn't need to be turned into a trendy food hall. It doesn't need a trendy hall with a spa above it. We have thousands of customers. Should that not be encouraged? One of our local suppliers, Lara Bean from Anglewall Garden, has said that they have supplied Tenby Market for 50 years and they wouldn't be where they are now without the market. We've got no objection to the hotel next door. More retail would have been much better, but a boutique hotel is an all year round business. We have 2 spas in town already. Do we need one in the High Street in a listed building? The High Street's been under constant attack from online shopping, and our community has been affected by this. But our friendly Tenby Market, well, we've booked the trend. We're doing well. We are not averse to change here, but fundamentally we need to earn a certain amount of money to pay our staff. And none of us are wealthy. It will be unsustainable if we are asked to move. Now, the empty town hall space above us has many possibilities that could benefit the wider community, not just the few who can afford a spa treatment. Could SO1 money be used? Could the town library go there? Could the council go there? Like, we feel you need to revisit this. You need to look again at the plans, long-term implications to this building on this extension, and they're only building it, they're only going to rent upstairs. So please, we implore you, we're all here now to answer any questions that you can ask us. Consider the small guy here. A spa is for the few, but a market is for the masses, and we are under threat. So thank you for listening, and we'd happily answer anything.
Thank you very much, Kathy. That was a really clear presentation about your concerns.
Thank you.
I have to say that we can only consider the application that is in front of us. So that's our duty today. And obviously members will make up their minds on the pros and cons presented. Members, any questions that you have for Kathy? Any clarification required? Yes, we have a question from Dr. Rachel Heath-Davis. Rachel.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Kathy, for that. I concur, really good presentation. I don't know if it is a question for Kathy, in fairness, but I just wanted to pick up on the drainage point again. So it would be good if we could, in the course of this, just confirm, is that within the red line we're talking about, and is it potentially a problem or not? I wasn't sure that was clear enough to me. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, it's within the red line. Some of it is outside it, but some of it within. Emma, you might know better the line of the drainage.
Drain when it runs all the way out.
Yeah, it's all the way through, but it is always a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. The red line that Dr. Davis is referring to is the boundary of the development as proposed. So Andrew might be able to just confirm that for us.
Thank you, Chair. As far as I know, yes, the red line would cover the whole of the ground floor because obviously it's done on an area basis. By the sounds of what I'm being told through the actual speaker here, that drain line is a horizontal drain line running potentially from High Street to Upper Frog Street. Would that be? Yeah, okay, thank you. And I'm not sure, we've got no drawings that tell us exactly where that drain line is at present. I'm just looking on the presentation, I'm just looking in the application now. So if you can just bear with me, I'll see if I can find a drawing in that respect, if we have one.
Thank you, Andrew. And whilst you're doing that, I'll move on to Councillor Chris Williams. Chris?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Kathy. Just a quick one from me. Obviously, it's important that the market and the heritage and all the stallholders have been obviously together for a long time. You mentioned about being maybe displaced or other accommodation elsewhere in the town. Is there anything close by? Have they come up with any proposals, or is that sort of how will that affect you as a group? Because obviously you've got a really good close bond there amongst other traders.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Williams. We haven't been offered or even had any discussions about potential alternatives for us at all.
So there's nothing at all at the moment now?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that clarity. Angie, Councillor Tinley.
Hi, Kathy, and thank you for your talk and your presentation. I want to ask you a question. If nothing was to change, Kathy, where would you see the market in 5-10 years' time? How would that look to you, knowing the current condition of the buildings? How would you as market traders feel in 10 years' time if nothing happened to those buildings? Well,
it's a difficult question to answer because we've had 7 years of not having any, well, I've been here 7 years, no maintenance has been done by the council. So we have got into a position where maintenance does need to be done. But the market itself is flourishing. We have a really great group of traders, and I can only see us getting better. We have had some like cultural events on here at Christmas with choirs and you know, bringing in different musicians, things like that. So we hope to develop that really to be, we see ourselves in a traditional vein of market, like one of the London markets really. It's not, yeah, it's not really pretty, but it's really functional and it really works well. And yeah, I don't know if anyone else here wants to add. Anyone got any points?
The development that they're talking about isn't going to add any material change to the fundamentals of this, only upstairs. So
yeah,
to be fair, I think it's quite irrelevant of you know, nothing will change other than upstairs. That is a separate, that's a side issue between us and Pembrokeshire County Council, the ongoing maintenance and development of the property.
I'm also not sure how material it is to the current considerations, although obviously of huge interest to both traders and the people using the market. Thank you, Angie. We've got Andrew come back, I think, with a response to the question. So we'll go back to you, Andrew, before I continue with a number of other questions to Kathy.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I've looked on the system. It doesn't look like we've had any details from Welsh Water to provide us with locations of any sewers, and because obviously it's a combined sewer in Tenby area, so I've not had any information on that. All I can suggest is, you know, in relation to drainage from the development, we have gone back to Welsh Water, we have gone back to our drainage authority, Pembrokeshire County Council, and neither of those two consultees have any concerns that would mean or result in us recommending a refusal here in respect of drainage.
Thank you, Andrew, and,
Yeah,
and
sorry, thank you.
that's the formal route we need to go on is that approach. Happy with that, Rachel? Yeah. Councillor James, Mike, please.
Diolch yn fawr, Cadeirydd, and thank you, Cathy, for your passion in your talk. I asked earlier about the Chamber of Trade, no response from them. Are you, as a group, are you a member of the Chamber of Trade at all, please?
Hi, thank you, Mike. We have been, we've just been discussing this actually. We've had the Chamber of Trade into us, giving us their vocal support, and like any loss of retail, which we are, would be really detrimental to the town. We bring people into the town. We are, as I say, a traditional market with butchers and greengrocers and everything like that. So they are for us. We don't know why they haven't sent in their application. I think it's an oversight, and I know them personally, and I've had them in the shop giving us their full assurances and support. Yeah, they did write a letter to the town council to offer support for us when the initial application was in to Tenby Town Council.
Okay, thanks for that, Cathy.
Thank you, Mike. I think we'll have to take that they haven't responded formally, and as Andrew pointed out, this is a long-standing application with a number of different stages to it. So they have been the opportunities, which unfortunately we haven't got their response in front of us today. Sarah, you had raised your hand. Was there any comment that you wanted to make on that before I go to Councillor Clements?
Yes, just in relation to matters of drainage, just to draw attention to condition 12, which is proposed, which is that no surface water from any increase in the roof area of the building or impermeable surfaces within its curtilage shall be allowed to drain directly or indirectly to the public sewerage system. So that condition has been added in terms of controls in relation to surface water. It would be possible for us to require further details of foul drainage via an additional condition to be supplied to us if members felt that was appropriate.
Thank you, Sarah, that's really helpful. Another question for Cathy here from Di, from Councillor Clements.
Thank you. It's a bit of clarification actually rather than to Cathy, but thank you, Cathy. And I think we all note your passion and understand the situation you find yourself. But Andrew's very kindly sort of, and Sarah with the drain issue, which I'd written down as something to raise, so that's sorted. But is it a material planning consideration for us to consider the moving of traders if necessary, or the impact that this would have on those traders while this work is being carried out? I just want clarification from the monitoring officer, please.
I think the impact on the traders was included in one of the conditions, Di, as amendment to one of the conditions, as Andrew has pointed out. But Sarah, and then perhaps I think Sarah probably more so than Mr. Kent, but we can try either, please.
Thank you.
Helpful. Thank you.
Yes, I think it's probably a question for Sarah Morris or perhaps Charles rather than me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think impacts on amenity, whether it's for neighbouring residents or whether it's on the market traders, are, that is a material planning consideration. I think the officer has considered that through the report, and there are some specific conditions that seek to address that in terms of requiring further information and in terms of controlling hours of construction set out within the report.
Chair, if it helps, I'll bring up that slide again to show the change to condition 9, which does show it in its entirety.
Thank you, Andrew. And as Sarah's pointed out, there are a number of other conditions as well that also refer back to restrictions or further information before any development is allowed.
Yeah, so if it's helpful, I'll happily just go through a few pertinent points on this if you wish, Chair.
I think it would be. It's obviously a concern of members. Thank you.
Okay, so this is condition 9 and obviously as amended, and this is requiring a construction environmental management plan to be submitted and agreed in writing with the local planning authority. The plan should include details on noise and vibration, dust, waste materials and artificial lighting used in relation to the construction phases. In addition to that, it details what should happen in relation to the construction phases, when things should be delivered, when work can be carried out and when it can't. Now obviously we're limiting work in relation to and deliveries to 8 till 6 on a Monday to Friday, 8 till 1 on a Saturday, and no working on bank holidays. Also, no working on Sundays unless previously agreed with the LPA, and this covers specifically the work to the actual Market Hall building and the extension at first floor level. And what we're saying here is, obviously, we know that the traders work at certain months 7 days a week, so we wouldn't want any work to be carried out during the Sunday during that, so there's no impact on the traders in that respect. Where there is periods of time where it's only working 6 days, then there's the potential for the development to happen on that Sunday in agreement with the local planning authority to make sure that there is as minimal impact on the traders as possible, and that's how that condition has been worded to try and ensure that.
Thank you, Andrew. I think looking at the timings, there's obviously issues with the restrictions in the centre of Tenby during summer months and so on, but those would be worked around by having an agreed plan, presumably.
Yeah, so as part of the construction environmental management plan, all of that can be submitted to us and we can agree those details, but the management plan has to address those points within the condition primarily. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Can I just come back, please, if I may, very quickly?
Di, if you would, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, and I think that's really helpful. But I should have added as well, I was a bit remiss, is that obviously the traders have got concern with PCC, but it's a PCC owned building, isn't it? So anything that affects it's not our decision. We can't make those decisions. That has to be something that the traders discuss with PCC about some of the things that Kathy might have raised. So I just want clarification that that's, not for us to decide or not consider this planning application because of things that are outside of our control, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense.
It does, Di. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kathy, that it wasn't a question, but you can obviously respond to that if that's helpful.
Yes, I was actually just Corey Williams would just like to ask a question. We've been told by Will Crockford that they would work on the market at night and at weekends. Now that's against what you've put up there. Those are totally because obviously we are open from 8 till 5. Yeah. Those are our opening hours. So there's something not right here.
That was deliveries specifically, I think.
Yeah,
highlighted there. But Andrew, if you can just explain.
It did say work in progress.
It said working and deliveries, 8 AM to 6 PM.
If we could go back to Andrew just for further explanation.
Yeah, so the actual condition relates to working hours, delivery and vehicle movements must be restricted to 8 till 6 Monday to Friday, 8 till 1 on Saturdays, no working on bank holidays and no working on Sundays unless previously agreed with the LPA out of season period and undertaking essential works to the internal structure of the market hall. And that is to minimise adverse impacts on the occupiers of nearby properties and the market hall traders. So if
But
there is
it
a
won't-
variation to that,
Yeah.
then obviously that would need to come back to us to consider.
I think, Andrew, we can't go into that detail at the moment. I must stress that the purpose of these conditions are to control issues that affect neighbours and indeed, obviously, in this case, the traders. But as Di has pointed out, there is also the relationship between the owners of the building, PCC, and the traders as well. It may well be that plan that comes into place would have to be more flexible. So the indication of timings there, Andrew, which is a standard approach we take to prevent out of hours disturbance for people, obviously may be something that we need to think about a bit further. Sarah.
Yeah, I think obviously we've got representatives from the market traders here, but we are also looking at wider impacts around Tenby and also those who may be residents. It may be that we want to take some of those hours out and look at a different proposal in terms of working hours for the elements that are within the market hall, but there is a wider redevelopment here as well in buildings not in the market hall itself. It's wider buildings that are having building work done, and for those elements, I think we wouldn't want to see, for example, weekend working.
Thank you, Sarah. Councillor James, have you got another question for Kathy? We've got another speaker going to present as well. So,
yeah.
Mike?
Diolch yn fawr iawn, thank you. I don't know if it's appropriate at this point, access in that area, vehicle access is very minimal. If there's any large vehicles, will it be, I'm sorry, Andrew, perhaps you can help me with, if there is a transport plan, using vehicles in place, or whether there should be. It's something that is always on my mind if there's development in small villages or in a place like where we are in Tenby with this application.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Do you mind me answering? Yeah. Okay. So, Councillor James, if you look at condition 5, that does require a construction traffic management plan, and that is the details that are required is set out within that condition.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm sure that covers Mike's issues.
Oh, thank you so much, Andrew.
Diolch. I'd now like to welcome our second speaker. Phil Davis is the agent for the development. Mr. Davis, I hope you're with us and can hear us. And
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Excellent. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Croeso, and you have 5 minutes to make your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair, members, for allowing me to speak in support of this application. I'll keep it brief because it seems that most points have been covered already. I would like to touch on the issue of the disruption of the works there. As you know, as we just discussed, that this will be conditioned, and it's by no means the intention or in the interest of our client to disrupt the market traders or the residents in any way, shape or form. As we know, the fabric of the market building as it stands is in a terrible state and in desperate need of repair. Should Pembrokeshire County Council proceed with any plans for renovation on the market, we would of course be willing to sort of put on hold this element of the development until they're doing their works, and tie them in to minimise anything. With regards to the drains, my client is watching on the YouTube, intermittent YouTube link, and he has just confirmed that the drains from the new part of the development will go feed into the hotel, and the drains that currently are in the basement of the hotel and lead away from the market. So hopefully it might solve the ongoing problem. But thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Phil. That's really helpful, and we appreciate you focusing on the issues that have been raised. That's really useful. Members, any questions for Mr. Davis? Yes. Councillor Tim Evans. Tim, please.
Lovely. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Davis. Can you just tell me what is the time period for the development of this development? Is it going to take 6 months, 12 months, 2 years to do the whole project?
We don't know at this stage. I know that the hotel element will be the first stage, and then the market will follow. And like I say, it's very much the market element is something that can be phased. So we'll be looking to tie that, like I say, tie that in with any works that the council have got planned. Oh, sorry, I've got another WhatsApp. They're saying 18 months development stage, start to finish.
Really, thank you.
Very, very helpful to have immediate responses as well. Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Davis? Well, thank you to both speakers there. Members, we'll move into general discussion now. Anybody want to start us with this? Sam, you were sitting out.
Chair, you may have gone on mute.
Yeah, I can't hear, Chair.
Sorry, I didn't think you were going to partake, Sam, but if you want to contribute, that's
yeah, I'd like to
add your declaration.
Yes, thank you. So is it okay? I just want to indulge with a bit of background information if possible, please, Chair. Obviously, I won't be voting.
That's fine. I'm not sure. We've had an awful lot of background both from the officers and the speakers today. So and indeed Maureen from personal experience. But if you think it's appropriate, then do carry on.
Okay. So as I said, members, this is just a bit of background information. The market site is an important trading area. It's popular and a key feature of the town. Sadly, the site has been consistently neglected over decades, and there have been little investment from PCC. The building is in poor condition and needs to be developed. The roof needs replacing and subject to funding. There are opportunities to reconfigure the market to create additional trading space. There has been discussions over a number of years, but until recently there have been good ideas but no direction or commitment from PCC. Late last year, I met with the Deputy Leader of the Council and arranged for him to meet with the traders. He was clear that the authority were committed to the market and that he was going to ask the regeneration and estate management teams to develop a plan irrespective of this proposal. The head of estates has been clear that the market needs to be refurbished with or without this application, and that the local authority committed to doing so. I too have publicly stated that the market is an asset to the town, needs to be retained and enhanced and continue to provide an opportunity for business to develop and thrive. We have some excellent traders, and despite its poor surroundings, it is an excellent market. For the roof to be replaced and some refiguration and development of the market. There may be a need for some temporary relocation. The local authority have been exploring options subject to planning and refunding. The Deputy Leader of the Council has indicated that some grant funding has been identified to kick off some design development work and is convening a meeting with key players in the local authority later this month. The head of estates has said that there will then be discussions with our excellent traders. Thank you. That was just some of the background. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. And we've obviously also heard from the agent that should there be some project work, then that aspect of this development could be phased. So that is very pertinent. Thank you. Rosie, Dr. Rosie Plummer.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd very much like to commend everybody, the officers and the agents, for working so closely on and providing such a very thorough consideration. It's clear that there, to state the obvious, there is a tricky balance of the retail versus the non-retail uses, the phasing, the way in which the economics of the time and travel of the time that we're in is impinging on our decision making, and our policy interpretation has got to be flexible and adaptable and agile and responsive in view of that. The transient impact for the uninterrupted operation or the relocation temporarily appropriate for the market traders is clearly a significant concern, though I think with goodwill on all parts, I think that can be addressed with phasing of the construction, etc., and with a very good plan. But clearly those conditions are going to take a lot of effort on the part of our officers to get them right, and that's significant discharge of conditions obligation. However, on balance, I'm certainly going to be minded to support the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Councillor Bone, Maureen.
Thank you, Chair. I was trying to come in to ask Mr. Davis a question, but I froze my end and I couldn't get. Am I still allowed to ask Mr. Davis a question?
I think if it's pertinent to the discussion as well, I'm sure that would be appropriate.
Thank you.
Carry on, Maureen.
Okay.
Again.
Right. Okay. No. It's just I expected him to come on the screen. Mr. Davis said that the drainage from the application would drain away from the market hall, but I'm wondering, does the drain that's in the market hall that causes the problems drain into the application? So I think there's still concerns as far as I'm concerned about the drainage, because it is a huge problem. Thank you.
We had clarification of as you say, the drainage from the buildings. I'm not sure whether Mr. Davis will be able to explain any further than he already has, but Phil, do come in if you feel that you've got additional information.
I don't think I can add anything, I'm afraid.
No. We've got that noted as a concern, Maureen. Thank you very much.
Thank
Andrew
you.
Has raised his hand again, and Sarah, so both officers might be able to help in this.
It's not so much on the drainage, but on the roof and the repairs to the roof. Sorry, Sarah, I cut across you then.
No, that's fine. I think I think that obviously we've got one condition on the recommendation, which is to make sure that no surface water goes in from the roof changes goes into the general system. I do think that it is worth us adding another condition just to require full information in terms of foul water disposal prior to commencement of the development to be submitted to us, and that would allow us to have formal submission via a discharge of condition application of the information that Mr. Davis just provided around the way in which the foul water between the market hall and the other building works, and we would then consult with Dŵr Cymru as part of that. But I think it's really important to note, as Andrew highlighted earlier, that Dŵr Cymru haven't objected to this application.
Thank you, Sarah. That's really helpful.
That additional condition would give certainty and control, I think, regarding the details.
Yeah, which has already been suggested. Thank you very much indeed. Andrew, do you want to just come back on?
Yeah, just to clarify on the roof, I don't I hope you don't mind if I just share my screen again. Bear with me. So the red covers both buildings, or all three buildings technically, but I know Mr. Davis is on the line here, so I just wanted to just probably highlight this for clarification purposes as well. But I believe that the applicant has got or signed an agreement, or is in the process of signing an agreement, that they will carry out roof repairs to the existing roof above their development within the market hall. So obviously that may be helpful for members to be highlighted in that. Obviously, the reason why I'm sharing my screen is the red line covers only part of the roof to the overall market hall, if you see what I mean. So, you know, the applicant may only be signing to say that they're going to cover the repairs to only a proportion of the market hall. Obviously, the actual owners of the market hall will be liable for the rest. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Andrew, and the owners are PCC, as has been explained.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Chris, Councillor Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just want a couple of points clarified, and maybe Andrew or Mr. Davis can clarify on that. When we discussed earlier on that the work should be carried out Monday to Friday and Saturday morning, we're all aware that Tenby is a very, very busy place, narrow streets, pedestrianisation in the summertime. Is there a sort of a time limit? Because there's thousands and thousands descend on Tenby. I just want clarification on sort of that sort of part of the scheme. It was also discussed that it could be done in 18 months with different phases, and the hotel and spa will be done first, possibly phase 1, and then market then in phase 2. Does that mean then that sort of that the market traders will be able to stay there while the first phase, or will they have to go out for the 18-month period? Just sort of clarification on those 2 points. A couple of points, please. Thank you.
I think the spa is the part that overgoes the market hall. So I think that's the aspect. The hotel aspect is the one that would go ahead. And then it's that could be phased. That was my understanding from Phil's presentation. If that's not correct, perhaps Phil could come in. But Andrew, can you just go back to the conditions and the timings again, and just highlight
Yes,
what
certainly,
your
Chair.
thoughts are there? Thank you.
So obviously Tenby is very unique in relation to its pedestrianisation. Conditions 5 and 9 in combination will hopefully address the concerns in relation to impact on Tenby operating in its normal manner, but also hopefully safeguard and minimise impacts on the market hall traders and any neighbouring properties from any construction work. Does that help?
Sarah, perhaps you'd like to.
Yeah, I just think it's worth stressing for those who aren't familiar with the planning process that there is when a condition is placed on a permission which requires further information to be submitted to and agreed in writing with the local planning authority, that what that means then is that an application to discharge that condition has to be made with a full plan submitted, which would require, in terms of the construction environmental management plan, a range of information to be submitted to the local authority. And when we received that information, we would consult with key consultees, including, for example, public protection, or in the case of traffic, we would and movements of vehicles, we would consult with the Highways Authority as well prior to discharging or partially discharging that condition. So it is it requires a full working plan to be submitted, including setting out timescales.
Yeah, I think it's worth just highlighting as well, Sarah, that both of those conditions are prior to commencement.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah.
All right with that, Chris?
Yeah, that's fine. The reason I discussed this is you know, Tenby is a massively popular place. It's a historic town. You know, it's probably one of the most attractive places in the whole of the UK, and it does have thousands and thousands descend on its streets. And I'm well aware that the pedestrianisation and getting vehicles in and out when you're having deliveries and you've got to remove materials from site, it can be problematic. And Tenby is unique because it's so there's so many historical buildings around it, and that was my concern. And the other concern regarding was that, you know, the market does play an important part of the community in Tenby, and obviously is doing very well. And you've got a lot of traders there. It was a bit more detail on the fact is that with the project being 18 months, is that sort of, would they have to be dispersed for that 18 months, or was it just a bit more detail on that? Thank you.
I don't think either that we can say that, nor is it part of the application that we need to that we have to consider. Although clearly the impact on amenity, as Sarah has said, is a material consideration. So it is a difficulty for us in you know, we want to and should consider the impact on the traders, but there is also the fact that it is outside the control of this planning application. It's a relationship between PCC and the traders themselves. And we've had input saying that phasing could happen, and background information that there might well be work going on and suggested by PCC that could work in conjunction with this. So that would have to come to us again for planning permission. So it would be something we would have to consider. But I think at the moment that's a difficult aspect. It's not the part of this application that we can consider, I believe.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Andrew. Thank you, Chris. Andrew, you've got
if you don't mind me just coming back quickly. Obviously, condition 9 relates to noise, vibration, dust, waste materials and lighting. That in relation to the construction environment plan is a control which would also limit disruption and impact on the traders. So as part of that construction environment management plan, we will be looking at how those aspects, because obviously even if they are carrying out certain works, you know, they say the substructure has already been provided and they're carrying out works in relation to the extension at first floor, whilst that the traders are working below. Obviously, we need controls to make sure that there is no or very limited disruption to those traders in relation to the noise, in relation to the dust, in relation to waste materials, so on and so forth. So condition 9 will cover that aspect. In relation to the moving of traders during certain works, that's not in our control, as the chair has said. And obviously, if Pembrokeshire County Council deemed that traders need to be moved to carry out other works or repair works in relation to the overall structure, then that's a call and that's a discussion that they need to have directly with those traders.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. That's really helpful. Councillor Clements.
Thanks, Chair, and I've been listening intently, and I'm not sure whether Rosie proposed it, but if she didn't, I'm happy to. I know it is. I don't want to repeat, but I know it's going to be a difficult project to implement, especially, you know, in the position it sits in Tenby, and we've gone over all of those scenarios, and I do feel that the conditions that we've put in place with the extra ones now cover the practicalities of the build and the impact it's going to have on those surrounding people. I'm really glad to hear from Councillor Sam Scaur and Blackhall that the council are in conversation for the rest of the building's future, which is really, really good news. Of course, there's always impact on any building project, isn't there, to anybody around. So, you know, unfortunate that that is. So I'm very happy to propose this with the extra conditions that we've added along the way. I think we added one on 9, wasn't it? From yeah, and then
there's an addition to 9, and a completely additional condition on foul drainage.
Yes, that's right. So
I didn't move it, Di.
And there was also condition 4.
I'm happy to second.
Well, I'm happy to propose it then. So with those extra conditions that we've discussed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Di. I'll accept that proposal. The additional information from about the potential future of the building, of course, is as you say, welcome, but it is not part of this planning application. So it is additional information, as Sam highlighted there. Andrew, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, sorry,
again.
Chair, just to clarify then
No,
for members, then obviously condition 4 is to be omitted. Condition 9 is to be amended, and I'm not sure whether we wanted to tweak condition 9 to vary the timing to enable us to have a wider control on timing as part of the discharge of that condition or not. I'd like a steer from members in respect of that, and then obviously an additional condition on foul water disposal details.
Thank you very much. I'm not intending to discuss the detail of conditions to that extent, but I think members do have a concern. So if we are approving, we are looking for delegated approval anyway, and included in that would be the amendment of condition 9 to ensure that the working hours cover the concerns that have been expressed. So
duly noted, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just check that that was the intent of the proposer and seconder, please? Yep, thumbs up there.
So
Rosie.
Rosie, did you second formally? Yes, fine. Thank you very much.
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
Di, I'm sure, had included those amendments within that. Just have confirmation. Yes, indeed. Thank you. And so Rosie has second. So I have a proposer and a seconder. We've still got 2 people wishing to speak. So Simon, Councillor Hancock.
Thank you. Sorry, my office has been invaded by a cat, and she's being very affectionate. I defer to Rosie. I think Dr. Plummer seconded the recommendation of approval. It's a difficult application, but I think we've had a really good debate, and I think we had some exceptionally good speakers, especially the representatives of the Tenby market traders, who were very eloquent and made us all think. I think this panelling application is a reflection of wider trends in terms of the old town centres being for much more than retail. So I've made this point at a county council planning committee the other day when there was an application for a gym within a sort of shop premises. So I'm happy to support this recommendation, and I welcome the investment that this represents in Tenby. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. And Rachel?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just one thing remaining for me. I'm really happy with Andrew's changes just to clarify the breakdown of the conditions. I think that was worth doing, and especially if it's delegated to officers to really look at the impact on everybody. So, you know, that's what I was trying to say, but I think it's been covered now. My only last query was our next paper is on the change of use, and I suspect it's there in a particular order for a particular reason, but I just want to check before we go to the vote that that's okay, because technically this has not got this use at this point in time until we voted in the next paper. So just to check our decision-making order, that's all.
Yes, this is the correct order because it's a listed building application that needs to be considered, which obviously would not need to be considered if the approval of this change of use doesn't take place. So we need to vote on this before we listen to the related but separate application be.
I'll take that you've had your briefing, Chair, and the order is fine for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, members, as has been highlighted, a very useful, very detailed discussion on this issue. Mike Kent.
Yes, I'd just like to remind members that if they're to vote, they must make sure they've heard the whole of the debate. I'm aware of at least one member that wasn't present for a certain length of time.
Thank you very much. That's really helpful. Yes. When we go to the vote, members in voting are showing that they have been involved with the whole of the discussion today, not necessarily speaking, but have taken part, been listening to the whole of the discussion. So if you haven't, if you have had problems at all, then you will need to abstain rather than vote on it. So I've had a proposer and a seconder for the recommendation, which officer's recommendation, which is for delegated approval subject to receipt of its section 106. But this delegated approval also enables the officers to revise condition 9 to look again at their working hours and to add an additional condition on drainage, foul sewer drainage, foul drainage particularly, and also on the paper to take out condition 4. So amendments of condition 9, including those that have been shown to us today and discussed, and an additional one on foul drainage. So members, I'd like to see voting for the recommendation for delegated approval. Thank you, members. That's 14 for. Are there any against? And can we see any abstentions, please? We have 2 abstentions. Thank you very much, members. I'm very aware of the fact that we've been going for quite a long time, but it's been pointed out by Rachel, the next application refers directly to this one. So I'm keen that we go through the next application as well, and then we'll have a quick break. Okay, so we'll move on to agenda item 5B. That's MP 240672 LBA. This is alterations to Market Hall and former Town Hall in tandem with change of use with the adjacent building to the Spa Hotel, Restaurant and Cafe Bar. This is the Market Hall, High Street, Tenby, and Rob Schofield, our officer, leading on this. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'll try and be as brief as I can, seeing as Andrew's done a lot of the hard work in terms of the presentation already. This is the listed building companion application to NP 24/0438. It concerns alterations to the Market Hall and former Town Hall in tandem with the proposed change of use to a spa, hotel, restaurant and cafe bar. Now, this application relates specifically to the listed market in former Town Hall, and this forms the northern part of the development site. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the site, and if Andrew can do the next slide, the market actually straddles High Street and Lower Frog Street, and the actual market and Town Hall building is seen on the slide there, enclosed within the red line. Next slide, Ed. This is the High Street elevation of the market building, and this comprises the formal entrance to the market, and the actual Town Hall itself is at first floor level. Just for historical context, the market was built first in 1829, and it was actually walled open market which contained roof stalls within. And in 1860, the High Street frontage was raised up a storey to create the first floor Town Hall. And then in 1890, The rest of the market, the main section of the market, was raised up and entirely roofed over. And the present roof, which is not in particularly good condition at the moment, is actually a replacement of the 1980s. Next slide, Ad. There we are, and this is the market hall then in context with the whole site with number 12 to its left-hand side. Okay, next slide. Right, this is obviously the interior of the market. You've seen this slide before, but just to give a little bit of context here, the 1890 roofing over the market explains the oddly inward-looking windows at first floor level, both from the town hall extension, that's the two windows directly in front, and number 12 adjacent, which is to the right-hand side. And we're looking here towards the inner side of the town hall chambers at first floor level, and these actually fly over part of the market space, and you can see that that upper story is supported by a central column roughly in the middle of the slide. And to the right hand side of the slide you can see the inset view of the original staircase that leads to the town hall chamber from the High Street entrance. Right, next slide. And this is the actual old courtroom within the town hall. This has been disused for some years now, but it comprises a fairly plain room with quite a tall coved ceiling, and to the rear of it, facing into the market, are some small plain rooms of not really very high character, some of which have been later subdivided as storage rooms. The proposal before us has no impact on the exterior of the listed building. It comprises the reuse of the main room that we're looking at here as a gym, and the subdivision of the rear rooms for treatment rooms, changing cubicles and toilets. This will obviously create some infill of the open market at first floor level, but will keep the main market area open to the roof. Next slide. The alterations at ground floor level are minimal, comprising the replacement of one market unit with kitchen and toilet to serve the hotel and a toilet to serve the market, as Andrew has already explained. The main alteration, however, next slide, is the extension at first floor level, which is an internal extension, if you like, some 6.5 metres westward over part of the market space, this providing spa facilities at first floor level. In terms of loss of historic fabric, this will include the creation of two doorways within the original back wall of the town hall building. The report before members, set out on pages 35 to 37, contains the relevant information in order to determine the application. Therefore, the recommendation to members as per page 37 is to approve subject to 5 conditions, these set out on pages 37 to 39. And the proposed conditions relate to time, to plans and documents. Condition 3, archaeological watch and brief, given the town centre location. Details including lighting, finishes to the new extension and the abutment with the existing roof. I'll come back to those in a minute. And condition 5, the retention of the existing panel doors to the town hall, which were omitted from the plans. So going back briefly to condition 4, and this is something that Kathy Butler touched upon in terms of what will the impact of this first floor extension be to the internal character of the market space. The lighting of that under space, if you like, is going to be important to get that right. So we clearly need further details of that. We need finishes of what the new walls will look like facing into the market. Again, that's critical. You know, ideally a light rendered finish so as to bounce the light around the space better. And we also require further details as to the works to the existing roof and how the new extension will abut to that. There we are. Thank you very much, members. And if you've got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Rob. Very helpful, as always. Members, any questions for Rob? Rachel.
Thank you, Rob. Really, really good, thorough presentation. 2 questions. They might be silly, but they're ones to confirm in my mind, if you don't mind. You know, in the red square, the delineation of the area we're talking about.
Yes.
Does any of that cover the market, or because the description is saying we're changing the use here to retail, hotel, and spa?
Yeah. Yeah.
The niggle in my mind is, does that then cover the market for its retail work, or does something else cover that? Do you see what I mean?
The red square just covered the town hall section of the market.
Right. So it's overlapping.
Yeah, the high street side of it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That was my question 1. So they're not affected with their use. That's not changing their use.
Yeah.
And then the other one for me was, because of the changes in the trends we're talking about in retail and the high street in future, I was just wondering what would happen, because our design is actually almost encouraging a retail look with the frontages. As this goes back, it'll be a huge improvement, won't it? But so does this preclude anybody changing that cafe part, for example, into retail in future? You could have a hotel or a spa or retail, different combinations, you know what I mean? Would they have to come back for permission, or if we curtailed it too much rather than go with time?
I think that's more of a planning question than a listed building question, because obviously listed building legislation doesn't necessarily relate to the actual use of the building. But I can't see any reason why, you know, in the future, if the hotel and spa was to, you know, cease use, then the upper story of the town hall to find an alternative commercial use.
Exactly.
I think we'd probably encourage that within the town centre location.
That's what I was thinking.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
From the point of view of the listed building, then obviously, as was highlighted in the presentation, that and just mentioned by yourself, Rob, you know, bringing back the previous fenestration and so on, obviously returns a look to Tenby that has been lost perhaps by well, most recently by not having any fenestration, but previously not sympathetic perhaps. Kate, do you want to just respond on the retail aspect?
Thank you, Chair. Andrew might correct me, but I'm not sure that the cafe use has been individually conditioned to be retained as such, or that we've taken away permitted development rights. And if we haven't taken away permitted development rights, the cafe could at any stage go back to an A1 use as part of permitted development. So as long as there were no physical alterations to the building, which of course wouldn't be allowed because of it being listed, if the use were to change back to retail, permission wouldn't be required for that. So that does allow, I think, a greater flexibility in the use going forward.
That's brilliant. That's great. I think that's really good. And my last question, sorry, was just about Heneb, because they have commented and I didn't know what that was. So suggested condition on that one, Rob. What did they ask for?
Yeah, they're asking for a written scheme of investigation, basically, which I think will include an archaeological watching brief. And, you know, as the project develops, because obviously they'll be breaking ground to some extent, you know, to create the pillar, the new supports for the first floor extension, and obviously then the works within the rest of the site. Because I mean, whilst those buildings aren't listed, they are of historic importance, and of course they do, while in 19th century, they do sit on medieval sites. So, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
So that's condition 3 there.
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah.
So that's responding to Heneb.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Simon.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Great presentation as always, and always very thorough from you. Nothing to say other than I'm happy to move the recommendation, Chair.
Thank you, Simon. And Rosie?
Happy to second.
Thank you very much indeed. So we have a second proposer in Simon, Councillor Hancock, a seconder in Dr. Plummer, to go with approval of this application, LBA application. Have everybody finished comments? In that case, members, I'll go to the vote on this, please. So please raise your hands if you're
Chair,
happy to go for.
Chair, sorry to jump in. Could I just double
Sorry,
check something?
Charles.
Could I just double check something before you take a vote? I do recall Rob mentioned timing in relation to one of the conditions. Can I just double check we're not doing something inconsistent with this application as we are to the previous one?
No, I hope not. It's the standard 5 year.
Yeah, sorry, that's what it was. It wasn't hours of use. Or
Yes,
anything.
No, no.
That's
it's
fine.
not
No.
hours of activity. No,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you,
Apologies,
Charles.
apologies for stepping in.
That's
You're good to go.
Not at all. So members, raise your hands, please, if you are happy to support approval. Thank you. Thank you, members. That's 16 for. Do we have any against? Please lower your hands. I think, Maureen, we've got a hand up there. Is that just because you can't take it down? Yes, okay. So any abstentions? And we've got one abstention there. Thank you very much, members. That moves us to nearly midday now, so I'm suggesting that we take a 10-minute break and return at 12:05. That's okay. So we'll return and restart the streaming at 12:05. Thank you very much.
Madeline? Madeline?
Yep.
I'm going to have to leave at about 1:30.
Thank you, Gwen. I'm hoping well,
Yes.
the next will obviously take a lot of discussion as well. We'll just see, but thank
See
you
where
for
we
that.
are, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Welcome, Michelle.
Sorry, Madeline. So I did come at the beginning of 5B, but because I hadn't done 5A, I didn't just vote just now. Is that correct? Right.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's fine, right? So I'm sorry I'm late as well. Sorry.
Not at all. Not at all.
Thank you very much. Right.
Thank you.
Madeline?
The rest of the meeting. Yes, indeed.
Madeline, sorry. Like Gwyn, I've got to leave probably about 1:30. I'm chairing the Pembrokeshire Armed Forces Forum for the county in County Hall at 2, so I'm going to have to leave about 1:30.
That's fine. We hopefully we'll move on fairly swiftly. But
okay, thank you.
If we start back at 5 minutes past, then we'll move forward. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Those. Cheers. coming up for time, I think, according to my watch. Hope everybody's starting to come back.
Prynhawn da.
Now te. Amser wedi hedfan.
I think. Oh no, I think I've now joined.
Right.
That was a very interesting application.